Picture this, you are about to walk into your classroom for the first time since the end of the school year, or maybe the first time ever. You walk in, the floors are nice and clean, everything looks shiny, but the furniture is not in the right spot. You have things stacked on top of counters or shoved into cabinets and closets. Your hands are full of all of the things you bought over the summer, and you start to look around and wonder, where do I even start? Does that sound familiar? In this video, I will share some tips on how to set up your classroom without feeling so overwhelmed. I'm Rachel Vincent, and I share tips on how to run an effective and efficient classroom so that you not only survive, but thrive as a teacher. I have been that exact person that I described. I have been so overwhelmed walking into a classroom that you just literally look and spin in circles because you don't know where to start. So the number one thing I started doing before I even go into the classroom is to have a plan. If you're anything like me, your brain has been churning nonstop with all the amazing ideas this summer. So what I like to do is just make a giant to-do list of all the things I want to do in my classroom before I even get there. I then take that giant to-do list and I break it up into sections. I have things that need to get done before Meet the Teacher, because there's a lot of things I need to have done before that. But then Meet the Teacher for us this year is a whole week before the first day of school. So I have plenty of time to do some other things by the first day of school. And then I even have a section for things that can wait until after Labor Day or the second week of school. So then I can take that giant to-do list and start to divide it out and conquer. After I have divided my list, and so I know when things need to get accomplished, then I can start to just focus on the things that need to get done before Meet the Teacher, because that's what happens first. So I will divide my next list into the days in the classroom. So day one, I'm going to choose 3 things from my Meet the Teacher list that I want to get accomplished. And typically I like to move furniture first, because then I have space to move furniture and I can figure out if that's where I want the furniture to go. The next thing after I moved all the furniture is I'm going to set up my area, because that can become my landing zone when I bring stuff in, when I'm having lunch, when I need to find scissors or a pen or tape. It's all where I know I can find it. And so it helps making setting up the rest of the classroom easy. Then I set up the student desks and chairs, mostly because they take up so much room and I don't want to keep moving around them as I'm setting up the classroom. But I've also found that that space is a great place to work on projects and set out bulletin boards and things like that. So it just becomes an extra workspace for me. Once I have those 3 things accomplished the first day, then I can sort of pull from that to-do list of some of the other small things. My day 2 is usually setting up my classroom library, because that is a big undertaking in and of itself, making sure it's organized and ready. So I typically have that set for day 2, along with covering my bulletin boards with paper or fabric and the bulletin boards. And if I know the titles and I have those ready, I'll go ahead and put those up. But other than that, just having them covered can be enough sometimes. I have started many a school years with just the bulletin boards covered and nothing else on them. It is okay for your classroom to not be 100% ready before the first day of school. To me, once I get those things accomplished, the furniture moved, my area ready, student desks ready, library ready, and bulletin boards covered, those 5 things, when I get those done, technically, I could teach. Students could come in, we could teach, and I could function. Now, I certainly don't want that to happen, but if push came to shove and that was all I could get accomplished, I know I could start teaching and we could have class. Then I can start to move on to my other items on the to-do list, things I want to have done, not necessarily need to have done, but things that I want to do to make sure our classroom is a wonderful place to be. I would suggest also that you clean as you go. Yes, there are many times when you are setting up your classroom to where it looks crazy before it gets better, but do your best to clean as you go, wiping down counters, desks, sweeping, whatever you need to do to clean up as you go, picking up your little pieces from your craft project so that, again, if push came to shove, there was an emergency, at least it would be cleaned and ready so that you could start the first day of school. One of my favorite sayings is progress over perfection. Your classroom is a work in progress. My classroom now looks completely different than it did my first year of teaching. And it even looks different than it did in my 7th or 8th year of teaching. My decor style changes, my personality, and how I want things run in the classroom has changed as I have evolved as a teacher. My classroom never looked Pinterest or Instagram ready. And even when I came to my school that I'm currently at 3 years ago, my walls were so blank, but that's all I could do because I had to clean out all the stuff from the teacher before and unpack every single thing because I had moved. And so the walls were the last thing on my list, and I just didn't get to it before school started. But throughout the year and over these past couple of years, I have been able to add to my classroom. So keep that in mind. Get what you have to get done and then make progress. Even if you can only get certain things up before the first day, then add to it the next month. Let student work and anchor charts and your learning decorate the walls in your classroom. There is no magic date that your classroom has to be perfect and ready. It can change, it can evolve, and it should, especially as each group of students you get each year is different. And you might learn that things work well with one group and don't work well with another. So some sort of organizational system you had was working and now it's no longer and you need to change things. Teaching and how your classroom is constantly evolving and constantly getting better. So allow that progress to take place over having that perfect Instagram classroom. I have some back to school checklists that cover all the basics of having your classroom ready for the first day of school. You can grab the link for those in the description box. And if you're looking for tips on how to have a wonderful, successful first day of school, check out the video that's on your screen now, where I will share some of my best do's and don'ts for the first day of school.